Welcome back, everyone. We just finished week 2 of distance learning, and we're beginning week 3. Just a reminder, this week is a shortened week. We have a holiday on Friday, and then we're off from school next week for spring break. So I will only be available online Monday through Thursday. Your work will still be due at the regular time at 11:59 on Friday, but don't forget, we are off on Friday, so I will not be available to approve assessments on Friday afternoon. All right, now, before we get started, I did have an extra credit opportunity that was available during last week's video. So I want to reveal who, I think I'm going to pick 5 people that will receive extra credit from last week from watching the video. And then at the end of this video, I will also explain, we'll do the same thing again, another extra credit opportunity. So make sure you watch the whole video this week. But right now I have everybody that left a comment on last week's video. I have your, I don't think you can see it right here, but your name and initials are on here. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to pick 5 people, and then I will put the extra credit on your grade. So you'll know your name or your initials when you see it. So I'm just go ahead and pick the first one right here. Click pick. I don't know if you can see this. This is CS block 6. So CS block 6. Block 3 SM. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Block 6 KA. Oh, I think it went away, but that was KA, block 6. Block 4 AP. And then last one right here is block 3 KM. So if you were one of those 5 people that just got picked, I'm gonna put that grade in for you right as soon as I'm done recording this. For the rest of you guys, thank you for participating. Like I said, stay tuned. We're gonna do one more giveaway at the end of this video. All right, let me say a big shout out to everyone that's been turning in their work on time. If you've been keeping up with the Serial podcast, hope you're enjoying it. Please make sure that you are submitting those assignments on time. A few reminders for people that are falling behind. If you're falling behind, it's okay, but I do want you to get caught up. I do want you to know, though, I grade everything like Saturday morning or afternoon. So once I'm done looking at it on that Saturday, I'm not going back and checking to see if people turn it in. The only way I'm going to know that you turned it in is if you go on Google Classroom and you click the submit button. Okay, that tells me that you turned it in, or resubmit if you had it. Make sure you do that. That sends me a notification or an alert. Otherwise, I'm not going to know. So either do that, click submit when you finish doing the assignment, even if it's late, or send me an email. So that way I know to go back and check your work, because otherwise I'm not going back every week and checking to see. So please make sure that I get that notification, either an email from you or that notification through Google Classroom that you submitted your work on time, or that you submitted it. A reminder when it comes to Summit, guys, I highly recommend do the diagnostic questions first. The diagnostic questions are literally questions that are off of the test. And especially since you don't have the guided notes anymore, do the diagnostic one, maybe even more than one time, so you can see the questions that are going to be on the test, because you're only getting 3 attempts and that's it. You can't just take it as many times as you want. So do the diagnostic to get a feel for the kind of questions it's asking. That'll also hopefully help you know what to look for as you're taking your notes, because they're not guided. You're just doing your own notes. Do the diagnostic. That'll kind of show you what to look for as you're doing your notes. Also, when it comes to Summit assessments, if you finish your assessment and I have not given you a score on Illuminate, send me an email. Let me know, hey, I took my 3 attempts. The highest I got was 7 out of 10. Or let me know if you passed it. If you notice that I didn't put in your grade yet. Sometimes my activity feed on Summit times out or resets, so I might not notice and see if you passed the assessment. So make sure that you send me a message and you let me know if you notice that I haven't given you credit yet. Okay, a couple quick notes about Serial, and then I'm gonna finish this video up. It's gonna be a lot shorter than last week's. One thing, people are always wondering, why did the state or the government, why did they believe Jay's story? Jay had one really big thing going for him in this whole thing. Even though his stories are inconsistent and he sounds like a crazy person sometimes, the one thing that Jay had on his side is that he knew where Heyman Lee's car was. He could have been lying about everything, but he could not have possibly lied and known where Hayes' car was. They left it at no, they didn't leave it at the park and ride. It was there originally at that commuter center. Sarah tells us that Jay takes the police out to some grassy hill in some neighborhood or something, I believe. And Hayes' car was abandoned and it was left there. The police before that, they had no idea where the car was. They thought it could have been in a lake, could have been in the harbor, Could have been left in the forest. We don't know. But Jay, for all his inconsistencies and all his lies that he told, he did know where to find Hayes' car, which was really big for the police because they couldn't find it themselves. And it did give Jay a little bit of credibility. Made them think, hey, maybe this guy does know what he's talking about. All right, as you're listening to episode 5 and 6 this week, the cell phone that Adnan bought only a couple days before this all happened is going to be really important, and they're going to use the call log. So anytime you make a call on your cell phone, now or even back then, they kept track of all the calls, what time it was, who it went to, and then also what cell phone tower those calls pinged off of. Nowadays, we have cell towers that they're kind of disguised. Sometimes they look like plants. You're probably mostly used to seeing like the traditional big metal looking structures that are cell phone towers. But the government was able to go back and pull out all the calls that Adnan's cell phone made. Because remember, Adnan and Jay both had the phone that day. So they're able to track down where all these calls were coming from. And one call that in particular that's going to be important is a call to a girl named Nisha. And this call happens in the middle of the day, a time that Adnan says, I did not have my phone. I was at track practice. Jay had my phone. However, this call to the girl Nisha is several minutes long. And this is not somebody that Jay would have called normally on his own. This is someone that only Adnan knew. So this call to Nisha, she's a girl from Silver Springs. You'll hear more about her. It ends up being a very important call, and it does look bad for Adnan because, you know, as inconsistent as Jay has been, this one call that happened in the middle of the day when Hay disappeared, he really struggles to come up with an explanation for it because we don't know why would Jay have called Adnan's friend Nisha. Makes no sense, but it's right there in the call log, and we don't really have an answer for it. All right, and the last thing you're going to notice, especially in episode 6, is that the police had two things on their side. They had Jay's story, many stories, and then they also had the call log from Adnan's cell phone. And so what you'll notice the police were trying to do, take those calls and match them up with Jay's story. So even though Jay's stories were all over the place, they tried to get him into one consistent story that kind of matched the cell phone records from that day. So that was a big piece of what they used to get Adnan convicted as guilty. All right, guys, thanks for watching this week. Make sure that you like and subscribe the video. I'm going to do one more extra credit giveaway this week before we go on to our spring break here. So same as last week, guys, go ahead. Once again, comment your block number and then your initials in the comment section below. So if you're in block 5 and your name is Johnny Smith, you're going to write 5JS, 5 Johnny Smith, 5JS. Comment your block number and your initials in the comments below. Hope you guys have a great week. Enjoy your week off. If you're a little bit behind on work for this class, guys, you're going to have some work to do over spring break, but I hope everyone stays safe. Have a great break, and I will see you guys all when we get back.